Hi, this is Hotbit from TeamLiquid.net, and I'm here at the BWC WCS Grand Finals, Day 2, here with Grubby. I think the first thing, Grubby, that everyone wants to know from you is that we all know you got food poisoning in a hotel at Shanghai. In fact, I was supposed to come to dinner with you, but unfortunately, because of the circumstances, I couldn't make it. You were sent to the hospital, but you were able to still play on Day 1. How has this food poisoning affected you, if any at all?
So on Friday, the day before the tournament, I went to the hospital, and it was just like the most dreary affair for me because I was bringing my pillow. I was just falling asleep on every surface, every floor, every chair. I was falling over with exhaustion, and I was really afraid because I thought I wasn't going to be able to make it to play at all. I thought it's not worth it to come and play at like 20% my level and just disappoint those people who didn't get the memo that I'm under the effects of food poisoning. But luckily, the medicines, the antibiotics, they kicked in, and I woke up at too early, but I woke up at 6 a.m. on Saturday before the tournament, and I felt great. I was like, yes, thank you, I'm healthy, I'm ready. And I felt really fit, so I don't think it affected me at all.
Okay, that's great to hear. In your group play against, in your group stage, you played against Huck first, and then which you won, and then you played against Sen. Very close games, very exciting games, and then you lost to Sen, and then you lost to Killer. Would you like to recap any of those games?
Sure. I prepared the most for my first match because I felt that was going to be the most important to make it out of my group. Because it's the first, and if I lose, then now I have to win the next two, and it's the only one that I'm sure that I'm going to face. So I started off a little bit inflexible against Huck, I think, in game 1, but I think I recuperated well and adapted in game 2 and 3. And then the second player I prepared the most for at this event was Sen, because I figured he's the strongest, so I definitely have to beat him in the group if I want to advance. I really gave away game 1 for free. 4 links get in, no wall off. I screwed up. Shucks. Yeah. That's the sad part. So I feel like we just started at 0-1, and we really, like, in terms of fair or like real games, we played 1-1. So big dump on me for doing that, for allowing that to happen and messing up the timing on that. That's really the one that's the most annoying. Game 2 started off quite tough for me against Sen. But I was able to finagle my way into a victory by dropping his ramp and then later evacuating my army outside of his base and making it home safe and dry. Game 3, I don't really remember everything of Game 3 against Sen. Yeah, sorry, I don't remember, but I lost. It was not like a wipeout, if I remember correctly. And then I played Killer. In game 1 against Killer was Game 1 against Killer, I was on Daybreak. I think I played really well. I was harassing everywhere. We never even got to the mothership or shield upgrades or 3-3 Broodlords or anything like that. Tons of charge zealots, tons of stalkers, War Prison pylon harass, and just non-stop fighting like for 20 minutes or something. So it was a pretty cool game to play, and I think I kept his bases low, and therefore he never got like the insanely big death ball. In game 2, I played on the Tomb Valley against him, and I started off with like the fastest third Nexus that I've ever done. Didn't really prepare it, but I just thought, considering how he was playing, it was going to work out well, and I think it worked pretty well. I got a really quick third Nexus, I stabilized on 3 bases, but I made a little bit of a strategical mistake in the sense that I was on Colossus Blink Stalker tech, and I saw he had Mutas, didn't lose any probes to his harass really, so I stabilized on 3 base, and that's the most important thing against Mutalists. But then it got to the point where I felt itchy to go out and grab my 4th, pre-200 supply, pre-throwing down Templar Archives, getting Storm, and I should not have done that. And I should know better, but in the heat of things, I was getting my double upgrades, I had a ton of Blink Stalkers, but I lost my sentries, and that's why And I scouted his Baneling nest, so I knew he will try to sandwich me with Banelings, Zerglings, and Mutas, and you need those sentries and preferably storms as well. And I didn't have the sentries, didn't have the storms, and I had a very big standing army, but it's just not enough. You can't trade cost efficiently like that when you lost your sentries. So I needed to be more patient, say like, okay, I know you're on 7 base and I'm on 3, but I'm still going to wait here, and I'm still going to go to 200 supply, 3/3, 2 upgrades. That was my plan, but just moved out too early and really shot myself in the foot there. But Killer played really well, to his credit, and I heard later he also beat Titan very hard with that strategy on Entomb Valley, so I think he really worked on that. Then it was 1-1, and in game 3 I tried Immortal in with a twist, where I drop his main ramp as it looks like I'm going from the side with my main army. And it didn't work out. He had army there. I'm not sure, I didn't watch the replay, I'm not sure if he spotted it or if he felt it coming because I wasn't advancing quickly enough. But there were several components to the strategy, and then I tried to regroup. I think if I moved more courageously into his natural, I might have been able to just crush it, even though he had 5 spine crawlers here, 5 here. It was on Ohana, by the way. He had like 10 spine crawlers, 50 drones, 100 Zerglings with 1/1, and going for Nidus and Infestation Pit. But timing is so crucial with Immortal in. And I thought I was ramping out, I thought I was force fielding out his natural army, but he already broke the in-between rocks, so I was really just wasting time in force fields. If I just moved in and like force field behind myself, I think I might have been able to do it, despite the amount of spines. But given the amount of time that went by, we moved into the 3rd stage of that, the 3rd potential victory for me, which was the fact that I had 46 probes and he had only 50 drones. So it's still okay for me. But then there was the whole thing where I did the parting wall off on the main ramp to prepare for potential base trade, but I didn't know that Killer had some TLO in him and would go for a Nidus in my main. And now I understand how important it is to have full main coverage, even when I'm doing like a razor sharp Immortal in. Like I need to have coverage in my main in case of a TLO style Nidus network base trade situation. And then suddenly I couldn't enter my own main, and that was terrible. And I was like, well, okay, that's it. I got counted on all 3 aspects of my strategy. Too bad.
Well, it seems like at least you learned something, right? Even though you lost in group stage, you showed very exciting games for the Chinese fans, particularly the Sun game on Ohana. I know the audience was cheering really strongly for you. Also, I heard you had a game where you had like a 130 kill Colossi at one point. So these plays are really reminiscent of your Warcraft 3 plays. Do you think this kind of skill transfers over, where you're in tough situations, you can find a way to squeak out a win?
I think I just enjoy those type of games the most. I wouldn't say that it has necessarily anything to do with Warcraft 3, just that I like it when it gets really down and dirty, like fighting in a lot of different places. And while Warcraft 3 didn't necessarily always allow for that, it did have like one big fight which looks like many different mini fights, where you have like 2 units fighting against 3 units there, and like it fits almost on one screen. But it had a lot of the same feeling as a StarCraft actual mass mini-map fighting everywhere. So even though it was more condensed in Warcraft, because the fights happened slower and because units were more, I mean, there were fewer units and they were more powerful, a lot of mini-fights, it feels the same. And I like those. Actually, I try to seek those situations out because I think I'm maybe able to excel in some way there. Whereas I think it plays maybe to my strengths.
Okay, so we're actually in the middle of the grand finals right now between Partying and Creator. The score is tied up at 2-2. Who do you think will win between the two?
It's hard to say. Partying came here on PVZs mostly, like his whole grid run, and Creator, he also beat 2 PVZs and 1 PvP, right? Yeah, he beat Rain. 2 PVZs and then Rain.
Yeah, I think he beat Vortex too.
Yeah, Vortex, and he beat Illusion. He had one of each race. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, that probably doesn't matter. It's really hard to say. I would say Creator. I think he's like just the best player here. I think he's showing that, so I wouldn't be surprised if he wins. I had him, and Stefano and Rain as top favorites. Okay. Creator took out Rain. Idra took out Stefano, and so did Hero. So in the end, I think Creator is one of the only remaining of my top 3 picks for the event. So I'm gonna go with him, but wouldn't be surprised at all if Parting wins. He's so freaking good too.
Yeah, those were actually my top picks too. So we're in China right now, and you obviously have a lot of experience with China. The fans cheered harder for you than they did for either the Chinese representative Kam or the Taiwanese representative Sen. Because you have so much experience in China, I want to know, what do you think is different from this event, which is one of the first events in China for StarCraft 2, versus all the events that you attended in Warcraft 3? Have there been any progressions or anything?
Well, on the one hand, I feel like the production quality, if you compare it to DreamHack, it's going to seem like right here in China with the production that we have been witnessing here and the people at home have been witnessing on the stream, it's going to seem like they're still stuck in like the quality of 2007 or so, or 2006, or they're lagging behind a bit. But that's because they're not very used to and experienced yet with international broadcast and running streams. And then there's the whole Great Wall of China, the Great Firewall of China, and the crappy internet at times. So they have that to deal with as well. But then when you compare it to all the events that I've witnessed in Warcraft 3, this production quality was actually freaking amazing compared to the others that I've seen. So this is, I think, hands down the best esports event in China yet, in terms of player treatment, player rest, stream quality here, the size of the screens, just everything is like, I think, the best yet. So I hope this will go some way towards growing StarCraft 2 and esports in China.
Well, not only do you have a unique experience with China out of all the players, you also have some unique experiences with Blizzard tournaments, namely Blizzcon. And this is somewhat of a spiritual successor to Blizzcon, at least for this year. For example, in 2005, you played Zakard in the Grand Finals, which was what ended up being one of the most exciting finals ever in Warcraft 3. Also, I believe in 2010, you proposed to your wife at a BlizzCon, right? So what do Blizzard events and BlizzCon have, what kind of special meaning do they have for you?
Well, I mean, they're the company that made the game, right? And they always make the players feel like royalty. So we love to come here. Everyone does. We love to come to Blizzard events. I hope they'll never stop. It's just awesome.
Yeah, Blizzard I know Blizzard treats players, they treat press really well here. Next we'll be moving on to balance issues, I guess. We just had an interview with Dustin Browder where he revealed his intentions and thoughts on...
Getting hot. We got to get our jackets off for this one. Okay, let's get down to balance.
All right, balance. So we'll begin with Investor Sentry Push. I know you did one against...
Investor Sentry Push?
That'd be so imbalanced, can you imagine? Force field them in a little circle and then fungal it.
Yeah, and Medivacs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so Immortal Sentry Push is what I was getting at. The Immortal Sentry Push, we talked to Dustin Browder. I know you did it against Killer. Right? Killer? So what he said was that he doesn't think it's a problem and that Zergs are beginning to figure out how to stop it, and they'll be able to figure it out without Blizzard intervention. What are your thoughts on this take?
Well, I feel like Immortal Sentry Push is too strong, but it doesn't mean that it can't get figured out. Yeah. But I think just an indication of that it's too strong is being shown by how long it took to get it figured out. Like, I don't believe that in an RTS like there should be one strategy, which if you know it's coming, and well, admittedly, sometimes it was very obvious that it was going to be coming. Like when you know it's coming, that there's still like 50% chance you can't stop it. I think in general, StarCraft 2 seems to be a game of surprise and deception. So that it's very important to hide your intentions, but there was a very long time where it was not important to hide your intentions at all. You could just tell your opponent, I'm going to Immortal Sentry in you if you take your third hatch, and I'll still win. Yeah. But having said that, yes, they are finding ways to deal with it. And also very important to say is that if it wasn't for Immortal Sentry all-in, actually I wish we didn't have it, because then Blizzard wouldn't be able to say that Well, the win rate is between 45-55%, so PvZ is not in a bad place.
Yeah.
So I wish we didn't have it, because then suddenly you'll see, hey, if Protoss can't all in, what's left?
Well, yeah, we actually asked Dustin about that as well. They're looking at, they said they were not only looking at win rates, but also what players were doing in those times, in various situations as well. So they're looking at, this strategy is winning too much, or this strategy is not winning as much. My next concern is about infestor changes. We discussed the infestor changes before, but I'm just going to reiterate some of them really fast. They're going to change infested Terrans. They're not sure how. They're going to change fungal so it can't affect psionic units. They're going to change fungal so that it becomes a projectile, and they're going to remove neural from the game. The last two are in Heart of the Swarm, and the first two maybe in Wings of Liberty.
Okay, what do you want me to comment about?
Yeah, just what do you think about these changes?
Yeah, I think Neural is probably going to overlap too much with Abduct. I thought so immediately already when I saw the Viper, so at first I didn't like the Viper, but now I realize that, for example, Abduct, visually, I think for the spectators, will be very, very pleasing. You can actually see the unit being pulled over and just expect the crowd reactions when you see that. I think it's much more visual than Neural Parasite, where the only thing you see is a Colossus suddenly changing color ever so slightly. I do want to say, by the way, I think also the color coding is not distinct enough yet in StarCraft. Like, it's too hard to see different team colors, but anyway. So I think that's much more visually pleasing. So if I had to pick one, I would definitely pick Abduct. As for the others, yes, I think Infested Terrans are too strong. Yes, I think Fungal Growth is too strong. So those are nice little starting changes. We just found out that the finals is over, so we have to wrap this up because I think I have to be at the closing ceremony. However, yeah, I think much experimentation is required for the Infestor because it's just too strong right now.
Okay, this is Hopid. I was here with Grubby, and because the finals is over, we're gonna check out partying, I guess. Thanks for tuning in. And what? Oh, do you want to do sponsors?
Sure.
Let's do sponsors now. So Grubby, you have your jacket on again. Do you want to give shout-outs or any sponsors you want to plug?
Sure, of course. Thanks BenQ, Twitch TV, and Sony Xperia for sponsoring me, and everyone should support them if you like me, I guess. So thanks. I mean, they make it possible for me to be at the majority of events that I am, travel and stuff. It's important.
Well, again, this is Hopid from TeamLiquid.net, and I was here with Grubby because Partying just won the BWC WCS finals. We're going to check it out now, and please stay tuned and watch more videos.